Welcome to our series on the Chief Justices of the United States. When we think of Chief Justices, names like Marshall, Warren, or Roberts come to mind. But the story of John Rutledge, the nation's second Chief Justice, is often overlooked. His brief and controversial tenure sheds light on the fragile early years of the court and the intense politics of the 1790s. Rutledge was born in 1739 in Charleston, South Carolina, into a prominent planter family. He studied law in London and returned to the colonies as one of the best trained attorneys of his generation. By the 1760s, he had entered politics, emerging as one of the South's most influential voices for independence. Rutledge served as a delegate to the Stamp Act Congress in 1765 and later became a delegate to both Continental Congresses. During the Revolution, he was chosen to lead South Carolina as its governor. Known as the Dictator of South Carolina, Rutledge wielded emergency powers to defend his state against British invasion. His leadership during crisis showed a fierce independence and determination that would define his entire career. After the war, Rutledge represented South Carolina at the Constitutional Convention in 1787. There, he chaired the Committee of Detail, which produced the first full draft of the U.S. Constitution. Although he supported a strong national government, he also defended the interests of slaveholding states, particularly the protection of slavery in the new Union. President George Washington recognized Rutledge's legal acumen and appointed him an Associate Justice of the First Supreme Court in 1789. But Rutledge found circuit riding and the court's limited prestige unappealing, resigning after just 1 year to return to South Carolina politics. In 1795, the Chief Justice John Jay resigned to become governor of New York. Washington turned again to Rutledge, giving him a recess appointment as the nation's second Chief Justice. Rutledge's elevation was seen as logical. He had helped craft the Constitution and was one of the nation's most experienced jurists. But almost immediately, controversy erupted. Rutledge had delivered a fiery public speech denouncing the Jay Treaty, which sought to normalize relations with Britain. He called it a betrayal of American independence and an invitation to foreign domination. In blunt words, combined with rumors about his mental health and drinking habits, stirred fierce opposition in the Senate. Rutledge presided over the court for only a few months. During that time, he participated in just 2 decisions, neither of lasting importance. The real drama played out in the Senate. When it reconvened in December of 1795, the Senate rejected his nomination by a vote of 14-10, the first time in American history that the Senate denied confirmation of a recess-appointed Supreme Court justice. The rejection stemmed as much from politics as from concerns about his temperament. Federalists saw Rutledge as dangerously partisan and unfit for judicial office. His defeat underscored the rising power of the Senate in shaping the judiciary, as well as the precarious position of the court in its infancy. Humiliated by his rejection, Rutledge's health declined. He attempted suicide shortly after his defeat, but survived and lived quietly in Charleston until his death in 1800. Although his time as Chief Justice was fleeting, his larger legacy remains significant. As a governor, convention delegate, and legal mind, he helped craft both South Carolina's wartime constitution and the U.S. Constitution itself. His role in embedding slavery within the national framework is a reminder of the compromises at America's founding. Rutledge's story also illustrates the fragility of judicial independence in the early republic, when the court was still vulnerable to political battles and personal rivalries. John Rutledge may be remembered as the forgotten Chief Justice, but his career tells us much about the challenges of nation building. He was a revolutionary, a constitutional architect, and for a short time, the head of the Supreme Court. His fall from power revealed how politics, personality, and public opinion could shape the judiciary in its earliest days. Though overshadowed by John Marshall, Rutledge remains a figure worth studying, an ambitious statesman whose turbulent career reflected both the promise and the peril of America's founding era.